way. The heart of a lion from Joaquim Silva. Oh, my God.
When we talk about fighters who are built for chaos, pressure, and non-stop grind, Arman Tsarukyan is one of the first names that comes to mind. I've watched him go from a talented newcomer to one of the most feared lightweights in the UFC. And honestly, it's been crazy to see how fast he leveled up. He doesn't just fight hard, he fights in a way that makes even elite opponents feel like they're sinking underwater. In this video, I want to break down why facing Arman in his prime is one of the scariest experiences in modern MMA, how his game works, and why so many top contenders struggle to survive his pace. Before we jump in, please like and subscribe to the channel and help us grow. Before Arman even entered the UFC, you could already tell something big was coming. He started early with freestyle wrestling, but what makes his growth unique is that he also spent years playing high-level ice hockey before shifting his full focus to fighting. That mix of speed, balance, explosiveness, and discipline helped him build an athletic base that fit perfectly with MMA. By the time he was in his late teens, he was sharpening everything, striking, grappling, conditioning, and blending it all together instead of relying on just one skill. When he finally stepped into the UFC at 22, he already carried himself like someone who had fought top guys for years. And his first test was brutal, a debut against future champion Islam Makhachev. That's something most fighters would never want as their first Octagon experience. But instead of getting dominated, Arman turned it into a competitive, high-paced fight that earned Fight of the Night and proved he belonged among the best. From that moment on, people started seeing him not as a prospect, but as someone who was going to shake up the entire division. The first thing that jumps out whenever you watch Arman is his pressure. Most fighters have pauses in their rhythm to breathe or reset, but Arman moves like he's glued to fast forward. He marches you down, mixes his strikes with constant level changes, and never stops looking for the next opening. If you defend one takedown, he's already chaining into the next one. If you circle away, he cuts you off before you can set your feet. What makes this even scarier is the way he controls the clinch. Once he locks his hands, the battle is usually already lost. His grip, timing, and ability to manipulate body weight make even strong fighters feel helpless. And when he drags someone down, it's rarely a simple takedown. It's a crash into the mat followed by immediate pressure, pinning, and groundwork that drains energy fast. A lot of fighters say they have good cardio, but Arman's gas tank feels like something from another category. He fights round 3 almost the same way he fights round 1. I've seen so many opponents start the fight strong, trying to match his pace, only to fade before the round ends, while Arman looks like he's just getting warm. Good cardio isn't just about lasting longer. It means making better choices, keeping techniques sharp, and pushing your opponent into bad positions. When Arman stays fresh and the other guy starts slowing down, everything shifts. His takedowns hit harder, his scrambling becomes easier, and his strikes start landing clean because his opponent can't keep up. It's not just physical pressure, it's mental pressure that makes fighters panic.
If you've ever trained with a high-level wrestler, you know how mentally crushing it is to deal with someone who never stops shooting, switching angles, and forcing reactions. That's exactly what Arman does. He doesn't shoot because he's desperate. He shoots to make you defend, and once you defend, he chains into another attack. If the single leg doesn't work, he moves to the double. If the double doesn't work, he drags you to the fence. If you defend the fence, he lifts you or switches directions. It's like trying to escape a maze while someone keeps closing every door in front of you. And once he gets you down, the nightmare continues. He sticks to opponents like glue. Even when fighters manage to get up, they usually get dragged right back down. Every scramble steals energy, and every takedown chips away at confidence. Everyone talks about Arman's wrestling, but his striking has grown into one of the most dangerous parts of his game. When he first arrived in the UFC, he mainly used punches and kicks to set up his grappling. Now, he's confident enough to flip that idea. He uses wrestling threats to set up big shots. His jab is cleaner, his combinations come out sharper, and he stays tight with his defense. He doesn't swing wildly. He picks his moments, explodes with power, and forces opponents to constantly guess what's coming next. The worst part for his opponents is when they worry so much about takedowns that they freeze on the feet, and that's when Arman cracks them with heavy, unexpected strikes. A lot of fighters walk into the Octagon with nerves, hesitation, or doubts. Arman steps in with a calm, almost cold confidence. He doesn't rely on trash talk or theatrics. He relies on the hours of training he puts in when nobody is watching. That kind of confidence is dangerous because it makes him impossible to break mentally. If he gets hit, he stays composed. If he gets taken down, he pops back up. If he loses an exchange, he adjusts instantly. Watching him fight feels like watching someone who refuses to take a single backward step, someone who treats tough moments like normal parts of the job. If you've ever seen footage of Arman training, you know he doesn't take easy days. He works with top-tier athletes, world-class coaches, and training partners who push him non-stop. His routine blends explosive power, technical drilling, and endless conditioning. One thing that stands out about his training is the detail. He doesn't just practice moves, he repeats them until they become automatic. Every angle, every transition, every piece of pressure is drilled so many times that it becomes second nature. Fighting someone like that is like fighting a system, not just a single athlete. When you listen to top lightweights talk about Arman, you'll notice how careful they are with their words. They always show him respect, and they never casually call him out. That's because fighting Arman isn't just about technique. It's about surviving his pace, his pressure, and his ability to mix everything together. If you strike with him, he threatens takedowns. If you try to wrestle, he reverses or scrambles. If you try to keep distance, he closes the gap instantly. He forces opponents into uncomfortable, exhausting positions and never lets them settle. This ability to shut down different styles turns him into a puzzle many fighters can't figure out.
Early in his career, some fans wanted to see more finishes. That narrative has completely changed. Arman has developed serious power in his hands, sharper ground and pound, and a better understanding of when to push for the finish. When he gets into a dominant position, he doesn't waste time. He throws fast, powerful shots that force referees to step in. On the feet, he's become more dangerous too. He mixes body shots, leg kicks, and level changes in a way that keeps opponents guessing. When he chooses to open up, he lands clean. The scariest part of Arman Fries is that he's right in the middle of his physical prime, and he's still improving at a rapid pace. Every fight shows new layers to his game, better striking, smarter setups, stronger wrestling transitions. Watching him now feels like watching the early stages of a future champion who is piecing together everything he needs to take over the division. He's not someone who's gonna be dangerous someday, he's already that guy. Imagine standing across the cage from someone who is fast, explosive, disciplined, and conditioned like a machine. That's what facing Arman Tsarukyan feels like. You're not worried about one threat. You're worried about multiple threats hitting you at the same time. He drags fighters into deep waters, tests their lungs, tests their willpower, and forces them to fight almost perfectly just to hang on. Most opponents don't break because he hurts them early. They break because it feels impossible to stop anything he does. And once a fighter feels like nothing works, the fight is already over. At the end of the day, the real scary reality of facing Arman Tsarukyan in his prime is that he represents everything modern MMA demands. Relentless wrestling, clean striking, insane cardio, and a rock-solid mindset. He's built for 5-round wars, built to pressure opponents until they collapse, and built to rise through one of the toughest divisions in the sport. If he keeps evolving at this pace, the lightweight division is in serious trouble. And honestly, I'm excited to see just how high he climbs, because we might be watching the rise of one of the most complete fighters this generation has ever seen. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss one of our MMA deep dives.